and Chris is already into the music.
Wow.
I'm Uncle Rich Klein because I'm old and decrepit. I have the bottom bunk tonight. And on the top bunks are Chris Harris, Stale Gum, who has put a lot of work into prepping for explaining what's going on with 2023 tops, and Logan Ward, King NASCAR, who actually has a long history as a baseball card collector, even though he has gone to the dark side and does mainly NASCAR now. So, Chris, you lead us off.
Okay.
Basically, your idea.
I want to give a little peek behind the curtain of how Hobby Hotline operates first, because one member of our team does the schedule every month. And when the schedule for February came out, and I saw that I was doing it on this day, 5 days or 6 days after the release of Series 1, and that I was going to be doing it with Uncle Rich, I thought, oh, geez, this is just going to be me ranting and raving.
And me telling you, hey, you got to think of this in a business level.
Me cursing out Clay and me cursing out Jeremy Fullerton. And it was just, I predicted that this show was going to be a disaster. But then a funny thing happened. Series 1 came out and it doesn't suck as much as it used to. It's actually pretty good. It's probably the best top set since they got the exclusive license. Dare I say it?
Wow.
Yeah, that's high praise, especially coming from somebody like me. So
yes.
Well, I will say that compared to 2021, where I couldn't read the names on the front of the card or the numbers on the back without a magnifying glass, this year, at least in terms of the aesthetics of being able to know what the heck you got, is a major improvement.
Yeah. And the card number isn't the only thing that you no longer need a magnifying glass to figure out what you got. And we'll get to that part soon. So I figured tonight, since Series 1, it's kind of like our opening day. It's the biggest selling sports card product of the year in and year out. So I figure we take a deep dive. I mean, a really, really deep dive on Series 1. So much so that I actually made a PowerPoint presentation for it. Yes, I'm that guy. So
I'm impressed, dude.
I will tell you, I once called the release of Series 1 to show how old I am, the equivalent on Baseball Cards World of when we were young and waiting for the new Beatles singles to be released. Nowadays, it's probably waiting for the new Taylor Swift singles to be released.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't old enough to remember this, but around the time around Labor Day, it was the time when all the big three car companies would release their models for next year. And that was kind of a big thing back then. I guess Series 1 is kind of like that for us. So,
well, Series 1 is the series, even people like me, when you have people who collect the top since 19 whatever or 2000 whatever, you still want to see what the new top set looks like.
Yeah.
Because
1982 in my case. So.
It's something accessible. And by the way, please feel free to comment and call, and let's post the.
Yeah, I hope we get some calls tonight on my presentation and something in the or questions in the chat. So
either way is fine. Please chat questions in the chat or call in or both. Love to hear from you. You don't want to hear from me.
No, you sure don't want to hear from me, but. Anyway, let's take a look at the base set. And let's take a look at the design of the base set. What do we think of this? I think that it kind of looks like the graphics package of a sports highlight show, like SportsCenter. I don't like that large amount of red space where the team logo is. Or I guess that's color coordinated by team. So, but other than that, the angles, I like it. I like that it also has a border, because there was a stretch from a couple of years back where it went borderless, and those just didn't, the mid to late 2010s tops just didn't really look like what tops should be. What do you guys think of the design of this year's set?
I like it. I'm not going to be collecting it, but from an aesthetic standpoint, I think it's a great design. It's fairly simple. It's not overcomplicated. I think it's just a clean design. I like it personally.
Yeah.
Look, a design is a design. As I said, the most important things is it's aesthetically pleasing. You can read the names, and then when you go to the back, you can read the numbers. That is real. Those are really important things to consider. Those are actually more important. We had a bar mitzvah at my synagogue on Saturday, and I was ushering it for, the people coming in, and somebody was fretting over the food, whether the potato salad dish should be horizontal or vertical for the people to see it. She asked me, and I said, you know what my comment is? If it's good, it's good. And if it's not good, you'll hear about it anyway. So don't worry whether, this is form over function, function over form. If the food is good, it doesn't matter how it's presented. Cards, you do want to know how they're presented. And if they're presented nicely and the photo is good, and these photos are for the most part, I'd say 98% of the photos are good, and it's presented, and there's a headshot of the player so you see what they look like. That's a lot of positives, and we haven't even talked about the backs yet.
Yeah, we'll get to the backs.
Also, I do want to talk about is cards really enough? I know we've got
330 cards in Series 1, and we're assuming Series 2 is going to be 330 for a total of 660.
And then you actually have some
really enough though.
You'll have a few rookies, a few updates, a few traded guys. Here's the thing. All these teams now carry 12 pitchers, it seems like.
Yeah.
7 of these pitchers you've never heard of anyway.
But the thing is that the Topps Flagship set has always been not just for set builders, but for team builders, team set collectors. And a lot of team set collectors, they want their starting lineups, but they also want those cards of, the backup catcher, the utility guy, the one left-handed reliever that comes in to face the other guy's left-handed batter in the back. And is 660 cards really enough, though?
I think it is. As I said, I think the thing is you've got these, and relievers are important in today's game of baseball. But frankly, unless it's the closer, nobody really cares about, let's say, pitchers. And some teams even don't have 4 or 5 starters. They have what they call openers, and then they have a guy who'll come in and pitch 3 or 4 innings or 5 innings. Pitching, if you only need 5 pitchers really from a team, you probably would like to get every starter. But do you really care about the Miami Marlins second baseman? I mean, for the most part,
you're a fan of the Miami Marlins.
How many fans do they have, though? I mean,
But still, now that Fanatics owns Topps, and they were in a partnership with the Players Association, wouldn't the Players Association want at least 1 card per year for each one of their members?
Well, how about we go back and we do the Topps 40-man rosters, Topps totals, Upper Deck 40-man. Those type of products.
But this is what this product should be about, though.
No, this product does not have to be about this. This product can be a snapshot. You don't need this set to be the comprehensive set anymore. This used to be like a remembrance. Series 1 used to be a remembrance of the previous years. In fact, the fact that they've got 60 some odd rookies tells you they are evolving in this. And, rookie cards are more important than the shorts. All right, on the Rangers, but your center fielder on the Texas Rangers is a real nobody at this point. Remember, this is local here. It's really not an important player.
But is he not worthy of a card, is what I'm saying.
I'm okay with it.
I mean,
I opened it up. I said, man, I got a lot of stars. I'm very happy.
Because when I was a kid, the top set was 792 cards. And there were fewer teams back then. Now we have more teams and fewer cards.
Well, when I was a kid, the 68 top set is 598 cards. I mean, there were some leaders, there's some all-stars, there's some checklists, there's some managers, and there were 20 teams in the major leagues. You averaged about 25 players a team. And that's why there's so many commons. I mean, and
so?
these guys, I'm okay with less cards. As I said, let's do a tops total set again. Let's do.
Yeah, I'd love to see tops total come back. Don't get me wrong.
Let's do tops total so we can get everybody.
I think that at least the opening day 26-man roster should be represented. At least 26.
You don't know who's going to be on the opening day 26.
Or you spread it out over 2 or 3 series. So,
thank you, Cooter.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I agree with Cooter.
Right. Let's move on. Let's move on to the rookies. So, this is a list of all the rookies in this set. There's 58 of them.
Wow.
Well, technically there's 57 because Adley Rutschman's rookie card was in 2021's Bowman's Best. There's no debate on that.
We will skip the debate on that. We once did that. We once did a show on that. It was quite quite a thing.
But you'll notice I highlighted 3 of those rookies. I went through every single one of these players and looked up their major league debuts. Those 3 guys, card number 92 of Tristan Casas, 94 of Oswald Peraza, and 111 of Hunter Brown. What do those 3 guys have in common?
Well, I know Casas plays for the Red Sox and Peraza for the Yankees, I believe. Okay. So you got good markets there.
The team they play for has nothing to do with this. What do they have in common? Okay. These are the only 3 rookie players who made their major league debut in September. All of these guys made their major league debut in the middle of last season. Now, Rich, we discussed this before. And to be fair to Topps, I don't think that this is their call to hold these rookies back. But a lot of these guys, they made their debuts in May, June, July. There's more than enough time for these guys to have their rookie cards in products like Update and Heritage High Number, but they're being held back for Series 1 for... does Series 1 really need all these rookies anyway? What do you guys think?
Series 1, no. However, if you hold the players back, whatever date is so used, and as I said, it has been kind of funky the last couple of years. I think this year will be a little more normal. We'll get to how how the sets are being released, but I think by the end of the year, everything gets sorted out finally. But thanks to pandemic and supply chain issues, we've been running way behind on getting sets out. Why?
I don't think the pandemic has anything to do with this.
It caused
over the last 3, 4, 5 years, we've had so many high-profile rookies, whether it was Rutschman and Harris this year, whether it was Wander the year before, or whether it was like Yordan Alvarez a couple of years ago. They make their major league debuts before the All-Star break. Some of them go on to win Rookie of the Year or get Rookie of the Year votes, but we're not getting their rookie cards that year like we thought we were.
But on the business level, and I beat it to death. But on a business level, if you whatever arbitrary date gets assigned, and we do not know the date. When the rookie rule started in 2006, it was September 1st. It's no longer September 1st. We all understand that. But the more you can have rookie cards to start the year, the more rookie cards you have, the more you can use rookie cards all year long. If Michael Harris grows on and has an even better year this year, and you can at the end of the year still be saying it's a Michael Harris rookie card, that is awesome. If you can see Tristan Cassis is a major prospect for the Red Sox. Again, that's nothing wrong with that. Look, Nolan Gorman had a really good year for the Cardinals. I'm high on him. I believe Riley Green had a really good Riley Green, I think, was a Tiger last year and really gave them a spark of energy. There's Gunnar Henderson is the number one prospect in baseball. There's Adley Rutschman. There's a lot of guys on this list that are really good. And then you have Mark Appel. Mark Appel had some issues. He got drafted number one. It's great to have a Mark Appel card.
And it should have been last year.
It does at this point. It doesn't matter. That's beating a dead horse.
You're saying that this is from a business perspective.
That's what I'm saying.
Does it make sense then to sacrifice your late season products like Update and Heritage High Number just so you can goose Series 1, a product that really doesn't need it?
No,
I'm not going to do that. And what's the point of even having Series 1?
What you're doing is you're
Heritage High Number.
You're giving all these series more time to have the rookie cards established in it. And then you do have some people who come up early in the year that you can use rookie cards. Last year we had Bobby Witt Jr. rookie cards. He started the season with the Royals. We had him. The guy for the Tigers, he started the season in the majors. We had rookie cards of him later in the year. The guys that come up and they're on opening day roster as rookies, you can use them. You're not sacrificing a later set. You're still going to have a decent amount of rookies. I think the average amount of rookies that make the major leagues now is somewhere over 200 each season. So we have a snapshot of the rookies. We don't even have all the rookies that debuted last year. I should ask my friend Bill Carl. I know he makes
which is another reason why the set should be bigger than 660 cards. Anyway, thank you for making my point, Rich. Anyway, this little image I have here. This is the corner of Michael Harris's card. Those two icons should not appear on the same card. I'm sorry. The rookie card icon and the Topps Rookie All-Star Team trophy icon. Those should not be on the same card, one or the other. As far as I'm concerned, Harris's card should have been last year, and this year's card should have the trophy on it.
Harris came up a bit later.
He came up, I think, in May.
Well, but he didn't really get going until Acuna got hurt. And so that did slow that down a little for...
He got called up in May and was Rookie of the Year. That's all I'm going to... All right. Let's move on from that. Now, this is the one part of Topps that a lot of collectors are really praising Topps for doing. Getting rid of the gimmicks, sort of. So, for the last couple of years, really the last 10 years or so, Topps has had these short prints in the products. They don't tell you what they are. There's nothing on the card that tells you that this is some special short print. Well, this year they've done something different. First of all, they told us in advance that all 330 cards are going to have this special golden image variation rookie card, or not rookie card, golden image variation. But the important part is they're marking them. They're marking them with gold on the back, and the front of the card is gold foil stamped. And yes, the concept of an image variation is still kind of dumb. We don't need two different versions of the same card. But if you absolutely have to have this, this is something that I think a lot of collectors can live with. And from the feedback that I've gotten, both online and from going to card shows the last couple of weeks, a lot of collectors like this and think that this should have been what Topps had been doing all along.
Well,
So
they've been doing this for the Heritage set. They the last couple of years in Heritage, they note what the issue, when I say the issue, whether it's a throwback uniform, whether it's an image variation, whether it's an action card, they've been noting it on the back of the card, very readable. Not as pointed out, not the codes. That I think everybody's in agreement about this. When I wrote box reviews for Sports Collectors Daily, I'd have to wait on a product like Topps for 2 weeks to see what Cardboard Connection or Beckett would post. You know, the great Ryan Cracknell, now at Beckett, would post to say, okay, these are all the pictures of the variations. So I'd have to wait for them to be posted so I could write my review, because I didn't want to say I got all commons. Oh, I had a really super short print. So I had to wait. Knowing you're going to get something does make life easier. And I think everybody's in agreement that if you're going to throw more stuff out there, at least give the collectors a clue.
Yeah. You no longer have to break out the magnifying glass and read some stupid code on the back in order to figure out what it is that you have. I tell
people the story. Back in my Beckett days, way back in the day, in 90s, Pinnacle did a product, I think it was Pinnacle Certified, where they had the XY axis and the YZ axis and all
that. That was Leaf Fractal Matrix.
Leaf Fractal Matrix, thank you. And they were getting very concerned. They ended up having to call us the day before because they monitored the market and they saw cards that were super short going for $1 on eBay, and cards that were hyped differently that should have been $1 were going for $100. And they had to explain, hey, which cards are rare, because not enough people were breaking them to build sets. And so that was the first example of somebody really not paying enough attention to, hey, make sure you note which cards are tougher.
Yeah, like serial numbering would have helped.
Serial numbering would have been
but they didn't do that
thing for that set.
So I have a question for you guys. Is there a super short print for every card?
One for every card. Yeah, it's essentially a parallel now. And that's what, I'm treating it as a parallel for Baseball Cardpedia. Yeah. And another good thing about this is that there's only one tier of short prints. So in previous years, there were like a tier of 50 cards that were like one per box. Then a second tier of like 25 super short prints that were like case hits, basically. And then a third tier of maybe like 5 or 6 cards where you had like Pete Alonso as a polar bear, or they airbrushed the Philly Fanatic over Bryce Harper's head.
The really Wander Franco last year.
Yeah.
Somebody had Wander Franco in a player break, and it was the Wander Franco card number, but it was the team mascot.
Yeah.
So what do? They ended up sending the guy the card, but it was a legitimate quandary, because that's not Wander Franco. That was not Wander Franco on the card. Even if it said his name, it was obviously not him.
And because Topps didn't tell you what was in the product before you bought it, how were you supposed to know that before you sold that individual player break?
Right.
That's another problem with
that's true.
Gimmicks the old-fashioned way.
And Cooter, it's 92 and 93 Topps Gold again. In fact, 92 Topps Gold. People, it was something with, they were doing the Topps Gold winners, and you could, I forgot what it was, but you could, with the light, you could actually see what it was in the light, whether it was going to be a winner or not.
Oh yeah, I remember you could hold them up to the light and you could see scratch off which one was going to be the winner.
Yes. And so once they discovered that, they then stamped the 92 Topps Gold winners, and there are still 92 Topps Gold. So it's...
Yeah, and they made a factory set of the 92 Topps Gold.
With
too.
the Brian Taylor autograph card.
Brian Taylor autograph. All right. Let's get back to the 2023. Let's move on here.
I like the bigger numbers though. As a set collector, that makes it a lot easier to sort cards and find the cards that you're looking for. That's a
Yes.
that is a
You
plus.
can actually see the sequential number of the card.
Yeah, I hope they do Formula One flagship like this too. So looking forward to that.
All right, let's move on to the next part, the parallels. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 different levels of parallels. I mean, come on, really? And I know, Uncle Rich, you're a big dollar box guy. I'm a big dollar box guy. Most of these parallels are going to wind up in dollar boxes where nobody's going to buy them. Nobody's going to collect them. I mean, how many times do you dig through a dollar box and it's 10 years worth of Topps parallels, 10 years worth of Bowman parallels, 10 years worth of Bowman chrome refractors, 10 years worth of Topps chrome refractors, 10 years worth of finest refractors, 10 years worth of Donruss parallels. It's the phrase that I've heard coined is the junk parallel era. And it kind of is. Don't laugh, because
it is. You're right.
You're pulling even though these cards are numbered, nobody wants them.
This is nothing compared to Panini Prism.
Well,
agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, Panini Prism has over 40 in some of their sets last year. This is only 17. This is a piece of cake.
Wow. but let's take a look at them. One thing, gold foil, those are the jumbo pack exclusives. Rainbow foil, royal blue is the retail only. I have not seen a whole lot of Topps at retail yet, and usually there's a special parallel for Target stores, a special parallel for Walmart, or if not a parallel, then maybe like a 30-card player tribute insert. We don't know what they're doing with that. I know there's been a special yellow parallel for Walgreens, a special purple parallel for Myers. And I understand that maybe the price of doing business is to give these big mass market retailers something that's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with that. Then there's the golden image variation, which I'm classifying as a parallel. The gold set that's numbered to 2023. This has been around for over 20 years. I think there are a lot of collectors that do try and build this set. And at 2023 copies, it is somewhat attainable. The green, orange, and red foils. These are all parallels that they added in the last couple of years, which they do nothing for me. Vintage stock numbered to 99.
Is that like the old school card stock?
It's on the rough stock. They don't gloss it.
Instead
and then they stamp it with the old fishhook logo.
Oh, that's cool. I like that, actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
I have an idea for that in the next slide. Independence Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Memorial Day. Again, big deal. Do we really need that?
I think they need some Arbor Day.
Yeah. Arbor Day, Columbus Day, Guy Fawkes Day. Black, this is the one that's increments by one every year. That's hobby and jumbo only. Okay, fine. Give people a chase. Clear, that's the hobby only one. That's It's numbered to 10, 101 platinum, and printing plate. So we have 17 parallels. But here's what I propose. Let's bring back the 1 per pack parallel like we had back in the day. Now, 1 per pack parallels, they kind of, on the one hand, you know, you're going to get something. I know Topps wants to give people something of value in every pack. And by going to a 1 per pack parallel, that's something that's attainable if you want to actually build the set. So why don't we bring back the 1 pack or parallel? Here's another new idea that I propose. A team color parallel.
Ooh, I like that.
So all the Phillies would have red borders. All the Blue Jays would have blue borders. All the Oakland A's would have green borders. Gold foil, I'll keep that as the jumbo pack. Vintage stock. I think this would work better as a box hit parallel. And again, image variation, make that a case hit. Keep the gold, black, clear, 1 of 1, and printing plate parallel. Problem solved with insert bloat.
The only problem, as you pointed out, is that a majority of cards, and I'm a big fan of local card stores, but there's a preponderance of people who have to buy their cards directly at the Walmarts, at the Targets.
I live in one of those
Myers,
places.
and giving them something as the cost of doing business helps the company. So I think that's an ideal parallel as long as you understand you're going to have to add something for the retail people of the world.
Well, that's what the team color one is.
But that only covers. Do you want that for all the retail then?
Why not?
Walmart's going to say we want.
Walmart
something.
and Target come up with something that says we want something fine.
So you got to add a couple more things.
But I think this is the perfect amount of parallels. Not
right.
too many.
I'm not arguing that, but I'm just pointing out again the business level that you're going to sell a lot of cards at retail.
Yeah.
And you've got to give them, they're going to want something. And they're going to want something from whoever their distributor is.
Well, again, this is my ideal.
I understand that, but I try to bring business and real world into this conversation. We can have this conversation every day of every week for the rest of our lives.
Oh, we could? All right.
Yeah. We can do it tomorrow too.
Comment.
Scott Green says, hire you, Chris.
Yeah, hire me. I don't know if they can afford me. Not to big time anybody, but anyway, let's move on to the inserts. I like this insert lineup here. We got greatest hits, all aces, 1-2 punch, welcome to the club, and they're the perfect size, 25 cards. 25 cards is the perfect size for an insert set. Anything more is just pointless. You know, Topps a couple of years ago, they had, it seemed like every insert set was 50 to 100 cards deep. And that pointless. And they're 1 in every 16 packs, which means you're going to get maybe 1 or 2 of these in a box, which, that's good. Stars of MLB is the retail only. It's 1 per pack. There's also a chrome parallel version of it. Again, throw retail a bone. We can make this, and remember, in previous years, Walmart and Target had their own separate 30-card player tribute inserts. I suppose we can do that. Here's where it gets a little crazy, I think. The home team advantages are back. There's 10 of them. These were unannounced. They were a stealth insert. It appears that these are case hits. Can we agree that these home field advantages are just nothing more than a Donruss downtown knockoff? And is it really? It seems kind of beneath Topps to want to basically punch down and steal Donruss's ideas. I not a fan of these. But the next two, AKA 10 cards, heavy lumber, 20 cards, one in every 2,210 packs. Really? 2,000 packs? Now, I understand that there's a metric ton of this product being produced. Metric tons of Topps being produced. And so even at one in every 2,000 packs, these cards should be attainable for most collectors. But come on, one in every 2,000 packs, that's a little ridiculous, don't you think?
Well, I mean, but if you're looking for autograph cards of some of the players, it could be 1 in 2,000 packs.
We're not talking about autographs. We're just talking about the regular.
But my point is, it's okay to have some really tough inserts.
Yeah,
okay.
I get that, but
it's okay.
Tough, I mean, but there's also tough.
Yes, I get it. To have a product where you need 40,000 packs to finish a set is probably not the greatest thing in the world. And I don't know, but a ton is a ton is a ton is a ton.
I think a metric ton is like 2,240 pounds, so it's a little bit more.
Whatever it is, it's a
crap
lot.
ton.
But 1 in 2,000 packs. I mean, if it were maybe like 1 in every 500 or 1 in 1,000, fine. I do want to praise Topps.
Also, don't forget, I believe this is for the hobby boxes. Don't forget
these are in retail too.
I'm talking about jumbo though. I think the odds are better in jumbo.
Yeah, I think they're like 1 in every 600 in jumbo.
Yeah. Well, but think about it. Well, we'll talk about this, but I do want to mention the product is doing just fine. The jumbo boxes are up by a significant proportion over what they originally came out at. Hobby boxes are still exactly where they were. So somebody's buying these products looking for these hits. So go for it.
I do want to mention that the heavy lumber cards are actually printed on wood. And that kind of reminds me of those material inserts that were kind of big 25 years ago that Donruss was kind of big on. So if we're getting back to those, that's way cool.
Did anybody have a flashback when Chris said they were printed on wood of Beavis and Butthead?
Wood.
He said wood.
He said wood.
And anyway, this last part right here, hidden gems. This is on the back of the wrapper, 1 in every 38,000 packs. I don't think I've seen one of these cards. I'm not so sure these exist.
Yeah, Matt's asking the same question. Has anybody seen these cards at all?
No, I don't know. I guess we can assume that they don't. So, anyway, moving on. These inserts are cool. This insert is not. Another reprint insert. And this time it's 88, which is the worst design set of the 80s. And we're getting 100 of them in Series 1. We're probably getting another 100 of them in Series 2. We're probably getting another 100 of them in Update. Why?
Chris, it's a really simple answer. Remember what I said about people who buy these boxes and these packs. Many of them, this is the only product they've bought. They've been buying this since 19 whatever or 2000 whatever. One of the hidden secrets of Topps, especially 10, 15, 20 years ago, was not only were you getting the new cards, but you were getting memories of the older cards. And so I'm just happy that it's at least 1988. They didn't do 1987 again. I mean, how many years could they have done 1987? At least they moved to 1988 finally.
But here's the thing, though. Topps keeps doing this in every product.
That's okay.
This isn't just Flagship. There's been Bowman reprints over the last couple of years. They've done the 89 and 92 designs to death. Stadium Club had 91 and 92 reprints the last couple of years. And then there's, by my count now, 5 whole products. 5 that are just nothing but recycling old designs. There's Heritage. There's Bowman Heritage, which is coming back. There's Archives, or as I like to call it, Heritage for Millennials. Finest Flashbacks, which is Finest Heritage. And now there's Chrome Platinum that we're getting again this year, which is essentially Chrome Heritage. All right, I have this other comment here about Nostalgia Works. There's this podcast that I listen to. It's called Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. Are either one of you guys familiar with that?
No.
I usually listen to true crime podcasts.
Okay. Bruce Pritchard was Vince McMahon's right-hand man for about 20 plus years. Basically everything from like the late 80s through the 90s and into the 2000s. All of WWF's creative was by 3 men, Vince McMahon, Pat Patterson, and Bruce Pritchard. And he started a podcast about 6 or 7 years ago when he was out of wrestling. And it was such a success that the WWF hired him back. And now he's the executive producer of Monday Night Raw. But he had a saying, nostalgia works once. Because if you keep going back to it, you're kind of exposing yourself. And you're kind of saying to your audience that you don't have any new stars. So you just keep bringing back all the old codgers like Hulk Hogan. Like last month, they had the 30th anniversary of Monday Night Raw special. They brought back Hulk Hogan. He cut a promo to start the show. And he hasn't been on TV since. And he shouldn't be on TV since. Until maybe, I guess, WrestleMania comes out. And that's what I see with Topps. Keep going to the same well. Keep beating the same dead horse over and over again with reprint after reprint after reprint after reprint. And it just says to me that you don't have any ideas. You just keep recycling all the old designs. You don't want to give us anything new. So
I'm a big fan of that card. And you know what? I'd almost rather have that card than I would the basic 2023 Topps card. That's a really pretty design.
No, it's not.
That's
it's
a good
photo.
Topps. That's a good photo.
Say?
That's a nice design. I mean, and the numbers are going to be readable. I'm just as happy with 1988 Topps again. That's a really nice card.
Come back to it.
They also created these silver packs, which have the same design, but with that ugly ass tire tread refractor pattern. And we're going to get another 100 of them in Series 2 and another 100 of them in Update. So over and over, dead horse.
Well, I'm fine with it. So I mean, it doesn't bother me any. It's okay.
All right.
I'll get them in the packs. In fact, I got one in the packs. We'll talk about what I open later. It's perfectly fine.
So hey,
it would be fine if they didn't do it in every product. That's what I'm saying. Save it for the anniversary years. Okay, moving on. Manufactured relics. Does anybody like these? Anyone?
You'd be surprised.
I mean,
There
I've
are
seen
collectors out there who like cards like that. You'd be surprised.
this is the City Connect patch that I have shown here of Alex Bregman. The team logo patches, which are Blaster exclusive. I couldn't find a usable photo of one, but I've seen them. Those are not well designed. Let's just put it that way. But here's something that I wanted to bring up: the jumbo boxes. Printed on the box, it says 1 autograph and 2 relics. But one of those quote unquote relics is one of these made up patches. How exactly?
I can tell you, as a racing fan, I'm not a fan of these at all. I think anything that's concocted like this, because it says right there on the card, it says commemorative City Connect patch.
Yeah.
So
whatever. Let's just move on. All right. The real relics and the autographs. And I put up here, you should not be buying Topps Flagship for big hits. If you want big hits, there are plenty of other products that Topps makes. Knock yourself out. But you get a relic in every box, an autograph, a relic, a real relic, and a fake relic in a jumbo box. And there are some scarce hits in there. There are 1-of-1 cut signatures. There are autographed relics that are numbered to 10. There are a lot of the autographed Manu relics are numbered to 10. My question is, do you really need to deliver a hit in a box in a product like this anymore?
A hit,
it's
yes.
Nice.
A hit,
I won't complain if I get one.
I will tell you.
But
I used to do. I forgot which forum it was. Let me think for a second. It was one of these, a Freedom Cardboard forum. There used to be a guy by the name of Dominique Perrine out of France. He coordinated a birthday club. And one year for my birthday, the 3 people got together and got me a 1982 Donruss box. I got 5 Ripkins out of that box, by the way. Can't really complain. My wife,
Donruss collation,
and none of them were centered better than 70-30. So it was nice getting the cards, but none of them were going to be grading real high with the centering. My wife's complaining. No hits in the box. She would open boxes when I did that. She wanted to make sure every box had a hit in it. You've got to have at least 1 hit in the box. It doesn't have to be a great hit. That's not.
The
and
thing
that's
is,
like
most of the hits,
purpose of the product, but you still want to have something in it. Maybe it's if it gooses up sales by 2%, that's still 2% more. You make money. It's okay. I'm okay with a hit. It doesn't have, but you're not buying Heritage to get the hit. You're not buying Topps 1 for the hit. You may be buying the jumbos for the hit. I call them cellos. You may be buying the jumbos for the hit because of the cost of the box, but you're not buying the hobby box, which is still reasonable at $89.95 for the hit.
But like you mentioned, most of the hits in Topps Flagship, they're usually a single swatch, postage stamp sized, single color game jersey card.
Right, we
of a
joke
marginal player.
But it's still something.
Or if you get an autograph, it's a marginal player.
Right, but it's still
you're not getting like what I'm saying is that you shouldn't be buying this on the expectation that you get a big hit. But I think a lot of people out there are buying it, just don't care about the hit.
Correct. Some people want the big hits, but a lot of people who are buying Topps 1 just buy it because it's fun. So a hit is nice, but it doesn't have to be a big hit.
I'm not saying get rid of all the hits in Series 1.
I think a hit per box is
A
perfectly
hit in every
a hit per
couple of
box is
boxes.
perfectly fine.
And if you make them in every couple of boxes, when you do get a hit, it's worth something.
You know what product has it like that? And we haven't seen whether it's going to be released opening day. Now that's the product that you get a hit maybe every 3 or 4 boxes.
No. Okay, well, anyway. 101 cut sigs, whatever. Okay,
Whatever. Okay, fine.
Okay, in my perfect world, this is how I would structure Topps. 3 series of 330 cards, one every 3 months with a 330 card update. 990 card base set. I mean, Upper Deck in the 2000s released 800 and 900 and 1,000 card base sets. Why can't Topps? Cut down on the parallels. Save the reprint style inserts for anniversary years. That way we don't get sick of them. Make the super scarce relics a little bit more attainable, other than 1 in every 2,000 packs. Manu relics, they're an idea that should have gone away years ago. And from a P&L perspective, do you really need a hit in the box? I don't.
I think we just discussed
I'm not complaining if I get a hit in this box, but I don't think it's a product that needs it.
Brendan, as I said, one of the reasons we need retail is not everybody has access to hobby or even mail order to get it in. So we also need the retail as an introductory in addition to card stores. So I don't have a problem with having retail out there. It helps the hobby on an overall basis.
And I live in a place where it's 3 hours away from the nearest LCS. So
Target
and Walmart is my hobby shop.
Right.
So that's Series 1, a big, deep hobby hotline.
We promised a rip. So I'm going to read some of the people that were in my hobby pack that I opened. I also opened a cello pack while we were here. I had a pretty good hobby pack. Michael Harris Jr. rookie.
That should have been a rookie last year, but
you want to show us the card?
Willie Mays, welcome to the club. Freddie Freeman, we need our friend Herman here for that. Future stars O'Neal Cruz. Peter Alonso. Fernando Tatis Jr., hopefully he comes back this year. That is not a bad pack.
Yeah. Don't you think having the future star notation on the O'Neal Cruz card is a little redundant?
Okay, so unfortunately, the cello pack didn't quite have the same star power. I did get Future Stars Ozzie Gray.
You want to show them to us, Rich? Can you put them up?
I will if I get anything interesting.
Okay.
Now here are the inserts. Here's the one per, I guess, cello rainbow foil Joey Votto. Pick a game for a shot to win, Vladimir Guerrero. This is a greatest hits Juan Soto card. And this is Chris's favorite, the 1988 reprint of Christopher Morel.
Now, apparently there's a new parallel in those 88s that's serial numbered to 88. And apparently those are printed on the rougher vintage stock, but apparently they didn't print it on the heritage stock.
So there's
just a regular card numbered to 88.
There's a Gunnar Henderson rookie. Here's a second year with a trophy, Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, I went to the store today, went to Target and Walmart, didn't see any retail. I didn't realize retail wasn't out. I was going to get some and bust some too, but didn't get the opportunity.
I've seen some people busting hanger boxes, but apparently they're still not at Target and Walmart. So they must be at some other retail outlets.
Yeah, my Excel guy comes tomorrow night to my Target. He usually comes like every other Wednesday. So I think he'll be there tomorrow night. So I'll be there tomorrow night and see what they got.
We've now, Chris, great presentation. We got right to the hour mark.
Yeah, good job, Chris.
Do we want to talk about Sabrina Ionescu?
Yes. I don't know if, we haven't really seen much, but we saw a report that the highest price ever for a WNBA card sold recently. One of her rookie cards, numbered to 5, sold for a little over $10,000 this week.
And you got to say it, WNBA.
WNBC.
WNBC.
The 66 on your AM dial.
I always think of that scene in the Howard Stern movie where Paul Giamatti's character, who's the station manager, is teaching Howard how to do the call letters. He's like, got to say it like Imus, man. WNBC. So whenever I think of the WNBA, I think of that scene in the Howard Stern movie. So
well, I grew up listening. WNBC was one of the stations I grew up listening to. So, some of the disc jockeys on that station, not just Imus and Howard Stern, but they had some other people over the years who were very good. We had Cousin Brucey show up for a stint. We had Wolfman Jack show up for a stint. We had a Soupy Sales show up for a stint.
Oh, wow.
We used to be able to get 66 down in South Jersey.
That was
that's how he was actually getting ratings points in the Philadelphia market.
Yes,
and this was before he moved to K-Rock in New York and WYSP.
And when Dan Ingram was at WABC in New York, he was 4th. In Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Something that we're losing with the death of AM radio. I read somewhere that a lot of these electric cars don't have AM radios because the electric battery just interferes with the radio, so they're not even bothering to put them in. So,
oh wow, do they have CD players?
No, but they do have FM radios.
You have FM radio, and then you have Sirius XM, and then you have, but you do get you can get Siri to get you internet radio stations too.
No.
So you actually can listen to internet radio stations.
Yeah.
All right.
I see we're coming to the
coming up on the hour, so I know Rich, you wanted to say a few words.
Yeah, I did about a week ago.
Mr. Huggins.
A longtime hobbyist Bill Huggins passed on. There have been a lot of tributes to him, including our good friend Dr. Jim Beckett did a nice tribute to him on Friday's podcast. And as I was listening, and as we, and I saw Jim, by the way, the day before the podcast came out, we were taping it's also a Netflix series called Growing Up 80s. We were talking about baseball cards of the, what it was like in the 80s, buying and selling cards. And Jim was doing the magazine, but I was buying and selling cards. So we had a lot of fun. It's also a podcast and for iHeartMedia. But one of the things is I was sitting there and we were talking about Bill. Bill lived the good life? And you know what? When the day is done, did you live a good life? And when Jim does his tributes, one of the things is these people have lived good lives. And if you lived a good life, isn't that all we can really ask for? You didn't hear him get into scandals. You didn't hear him get into trouble. He went around his business. People loved hanging with him, talking to him, playing golf with him, doing the shows. He was always fun. And frankly, we need more people like that enjoy what they're doing and have a good life rather than somebody worrying what the comp is on some 2023 Topps image variation gold, probably numbered to 10.
Yeah, I've when I moved to the DC area about a dozen or years ago, I would make a couple trips a year up to Montgomery County to Huggins and Scott's store, and had a few interactions with them, but not really as many as you did, Rich. And good jovial guy, made me a couple of good deals. So,
well, his wife actually used to buy. She knew Richie Zisk in high school because they both went to Parsippany High School, and so she actually used to buy all my Richie Zisk cards at every show. And she collected. That's what she collected. It was a good way for her to be a collector. And when he's got kids, he's got grandkids. And as I said, it's a good life.
Yep.
And they already miss him at the corporate headquarters. And it's good. And the Huggins and Scott, they also had a succession plan. Ron Oser, another longtime hobbyist, will be the new president of Huggins and Scott Auctions. So not only a good life, but a good planning for what happens if he's not around.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Logan, I know this isn't your favorite, the 2023 tops isn't your favorite topics. We're running a little bit over, so we're doing overtime. We did have the Daytona 500 this weekend. So we did want to hear your thoughts on it before we.
Yeah, it was a great race. Of course, everybody knows that I live in Memphis, and the winner of the Daytona 500, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he is from Olive Branch, Mississippi, which is less than 10 miles from my house in Mississippi. So local boy wins the Daytona 500. We're happy here for that. And it was a great race, and I really enjoyed it. They had a sold out event. So it was a great day Sunday. I had a good time watching it, and I'm proud for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
All right.
Has there been any impact on his cards?
Not really. I mean, you see more of them popping up on eBay, but not really. I don't think so. I did send in a spec request, or not a spec request, a slot request to PSA to add him to some of the sets, like Daytona 500 winner and the Daytona 500 winners autographs. So hopefully they'll get that added soon, and I can add my cards to that. That'll be good. So that's about all I've got. So yeah,
I think that's all we've got. Chris, thank you for the slideshow.
Yep.
Logan, thank you for running the board. To the people who commented, thank you so much for your comments. And
you want to mention Saturday at 11. It'll be John Newman, Erica Massenberg, and Victor Roma will be here hosting Hobby Hotline over on Bench Clear Media. And 1 week from tonight, it'll be Drew Herman and Drew Herndon, Herman Bryant, and a Hobby Hotliner to be named later, apparently, next Tuesday. So,
are we having a draft?
I think so.
Chris, you get to take us home.
All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Another good show. And keep on rocking in the free world, and we'll see you on Saturday morning.
Saturday.